So let's talk about drop bars for a little bit, because I grew up on flat bar bikes. I never thought about drop bar bikes when I was growing up. I never tried to buy one. I never engaged in it. I knew they existed, but I just didn't really think about it. So peer pressure led me to try drop bars when I moved to Seattle area. All the people that were riding rode on drop bars, which I hated at first. And I realized it wasn't necessarily the drop bars that I hated. It's that when you ride on drop bars, you really have to be accurate with the bike fit that you get. I feel like on flat bars, there's more leeway to not get the exact right size right, and maybe you could just raise the seat, lower it. But I felt on the drop bars, for me personally, the fit was important, and my experience was really horrible until I found the bike that fit me. That was a Cannondale T400 bike, and it was a 63 centimeters, like extra large. And I kind of started to realize that for road bikes, those type of bikes, the biggest size that manufacturers make is usually the size that I want. So that ended up being such an amazing experience, and I got comfortable, and it transformed the experience of riding. And I was like, oh, okay, I get how you could ride long distances now when you're not super uncomfortable and hunched over and just slam down. And that was another thing about the touring bike, is the geometry I feel was like a tiny bit more relaxed, and the configuration of the bike, the handlebar was not slammed down, it was raised up. And I was like, I felt like I could sit in an upright position even though it was a drop bar bike, because all the other ones I had ridden previously I felt were slammed down to kind of have a racy feel, and it was so uncomfortable. So I realize I've always preferred stability and ruggedness over speed. It's not that I don't like speed, but I prefer the stability and ruggedness. Those are the priorities. Touring bikes introduced me to the drop bars without discomfort. And after a decade with my Cannondale, I tried a fast road bike again, but I quickly sold it. I just forgot. It was been 10 years, and then I bought another fast bike with a slam. It just wasn't for me. I was fast, but I was very uncomfortable. But as far as going fast in general, I like going fast on flats, but I don't like going that fast on downhills in the city. It's just too much. It's too terrifying. You don't know if people are going to open their doors, this, that. And until you're in like a space where cars aren't going to be around, you're always trying to limit your speed a little bit. You're never just going to tear through the city. That's not a good thing to do if you want to keep yourself safe, right? You always have to be aware that someone could be getting in and out of their car, someone could be moving in and out of a parking space, someone could just not see you and pop out. And so when you're in the city and cars are around, going the fastest you possibly can isn't always the most exciting experience. It can be actually terrifying. So you want to be fast when you're going uphill and you want to make your climbs comfortable, but that also sometimes can mean, you're going to go fast downhill. I wanted to talk about the aesthetics of a gravel bike. They just look cool to me. My personal opinion is that the coolest looking bikes, not bikes that I would necessarily want to ride, but the coolest looking bikes are fixed gear bikes, because they're just so clean. Like, they just have less things on them. They don't have a derailleur. They don't have extra wires running around them. They just look super clean. And that cleanliness just aesthetically is pleasing to me. And I feel like gravel bikes, as far as geared bikes, those are the cleanest looking geared bikes in terms of they just have that one by, and the two brakes. Like a gravel bike with a one by and really fat tires is just super aesthetically pleasing to me. Like, I look at those bikes and I'm like, those just are cool as heck. Over the years, because I've become more adept at like finding a fit that works for me, I really enjoy drop bars. I really enjoy drop bars just as much, maybe even more now than flat bars, but I still love flat bars. Flat bars are still super fun for techie stuff and just for a relaxed ride too. And you can configure and get sweet back bars that are flat bars, like the ones I have on my Poseidon, that are comfortable for long distances. Like, I have gone on similar rides that I've gone on the Poseidon. It's not as fast, but it's just so comfortable, and the upright position is so comfortable that you don't really need to change hands positions. So I find that there are benefits to both styles, and I love them both. And I'm glad that I grew up the way I did. And I'm glad that I was willing to deal with the peer pressure at the time, even though at times it caused me a lot of frustration. I had to see through what the frustration was and find out what the actual problems were. And it wasn't the drop bars. It was really just finding a fit. So maybe the overall goal of this channel, if you're an adult rider and you're still trying to look for the fun that you had when you're a kid, I think when you're a kid, you're not as particular to the bike fitting you. You're just willing to get on and ride, and your body's not going to have the same aches and pains as you do as an adult. So as an adult, if you still want to kind of match that same vibe that you had when you were a kid, it's really important to get a bike that fits you. You know, no matter if it's flat bar or drop bar, it's just you'll have more fun. Your pedaling will be more efficient. So the energy that you spend on your bike will take you further or faster, you know? And so it's just always a good idea to take a second to make sure you buy a bike that fits you. And then once you get the bike that fits you, it might take you, it takes me sometimes like up to 3 months to just configure everything. Even when I have the bike, just move my saddle up and down, just adjust things on the bike, and just pay attention, kind of retune the bike, and just make sure that it really fits you, and then it's in a good functional condition. And don't be afraid to take it to the mechanic and ask questions, you know what I'm saying? So thank you for tuning in. If you share the love for cycling, or you're just curious about it, get in the comment section, talk to me, you know what I mean? Let me know where you're at. I'm always trying to encourage people to get on their bike and ride. And that's kind of what this space and what these videos was all about, is just sharing my love of this stuff, sharing my love of adventure, sharing my love of going outside. And I hope if you watch these videos, you do too. So I'll talk to you soon, okay?